So next we're going to be looking at absolute value. Symbolically, this represents absolute value. Okay, this stroke you see over here, it represents the value of x. Okay, so this is the absolute value of x. This symbol, it represents absolute value. Okay, when you see a negative number, the absolute value of a negative number, it changes to positive. Okay, the absolute value of a number is the positive value of that number. Okay, an example here, we have the absolute value of 2 is the positive of 2. That is what this means. Okay, if you see this symbol, you have a minus, that is the negative number, it changes to positive. So the absolute value of -2 is the positive number 2. Okay, this is not difficult. Just know that the absolute value of a number is the positive of that number. Okay, that is what it means. So the absolute value of 5 minus 5 is 5. The absolute value of -9 is 9. The absolute value of -3 is 3. The absolute value of a number is the positive value of that number. Okay, do you understand that? It's not that difficult, right? This is like the easiest. So the absolute value of a negative number, it changes to positive. Okay, this symbol represents absolute value. Okay, do you understand? Now we're going to be comparing absolute values. We have to compare the absolute value of -6 and -11. -6 and -11. So the absolute value of -6 is less than the absolute value of 11. What do we mean by that? That is, the positive 6 is less than 11. You know 11 is greater than 6. So 6 is less than 11. Now we have -6 and -11. If we're leaving them at -6 and -11, you know that -6 is greater than -11. But now we're asked to compare the absolute value of -6, which is the positive value of 6, and the absolute value of -11, which is the positive value of 11. So 6 is less than 11 and 11 is greater than 6. Okay, do you understand that? The absolute value of -6 is 6. Remember, the absolute value is the positive value of that number. So the absolute value of -6 is 6. The absolute value of -11 is 11. So 6 and 11, which is lesser? 6 is less than 11, and 11 is greater than 6, right? But in minus, like without the absolute value, when we have to compare -6 and -11, -6 is greater than 11, right? Because -6 is closer to 0 than 11, right? Good. So here, compare the absolute value of -7 and -20. -7 is less than -20 because 7 is less than 20. The absolute value of 7 is 7. Sorry, the absolute value of -7 is 7. The absolute value of -20 is 20. So 7 is less than 20. Okay? But if we're just having to compare -7 and 20, -7 and -20, you know that -7 is greater than 20 and -20 is less than 7. But here we're to compare the absolute value, which is the positive value of -7 and -20. The positive value of -7 is 7, and the positive value of -20 is 20, and 7 is less than 20, right? Good. So we understood everything we talked about in today's lesson. We looked at comparing negative numbers. We looked at negative symbol and as the opposite, right? We also looked at ordering rational numbers. And lastly, we looked at absolute value and also comparing absolute values. So we understood today's lesson on negative numbers, right? We can now identify negative numbers. Okay, great. So next we're going to be looking at our assignment. I'm sure we're going to be able to do our assignment. It's easy, right? Okay, that is good.